let's say someone's watching us right now and they're being honest, and I'm going to talk to you in the camera. If this is you, I want you to really listen to Mary and myself right now. Mary, what are like 1 to 3 things someone can do to shift their mindset? To shift the mindset from going from, I'm going to do this to prove them wrong, I'm going to do this to make them happy, to the mindset of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to have this mindset so I can be better, so my family can be better. Well, give us about 1 or 3 mindsets that we all should have.
Yeah. So number 1 is we have to get really honest about the filter we're walking around wearing.
Okay.
So I'm writing about this. I'm currently writing my 2nd book. I just wrote about this. And I said that, I kind of like to picture those weird glasses in National Treasure, the Benjamin Franklin glasses. We're walking around with these glasses and they affect how we see the world. But more importantly, they're informing how we believe the world sees us. And what I like to compare this to is like Marty McFly in Back to the Future. He's got this photo of his parents and his siblings. And the more he starts to mess with the story, the more that picture he's holding on to becomes transparent.
Yeah.
So the more you identify that filter and then start to look for evidence to the contrary, the more transparent it's going to get. So for me, one of my filters that I've walked into life with as the girl in the trailer is that I will always be just a little bit not enough of something to be invited to most rooms, to be welcome at most tables. And I'm saying this while I'm sitting at the table. Do you know what I mean? I walk through life looking for evidence that confirms I'm not invited. So we got to deal with those filters, identify them, and then look for evidence to the contrary. That's number 1. Number 2.
Now before you go on, I was reading this. I was watching this video with Dr. Phil and Joe Rogan, and Dr. Phil said something that you said is so good, and I just pulled it up on my notes app because I'm always taking notes, y'all. Every time I watch a video, every time I'm reading a book, I take notes. And he said something you just said about your filter. He said some people have a damaged personal truth. A damaged personal truth, and that we tend to generate the results that we think we deserve rather than the results that we actually deserve. And so when you said that, Mary, I was like, yo, that reminded me of something. I had to go back to my notes because I'm like, yo, wait. I heard this before. And it's like, how many of us actually have damaged truth from growing up? And we all have experience. Your parents served you well and did the very best that they could do at that time. My parents served me well and did the very best that they could do during that time. But even all of us have experienced some damaged truth. Even all of us still feel as if, okay, like I didn't grow up wealthy. I didn't grow up like you. I didn't grow up with rich family, with rich parents. I grew up seeing my mom having to work 2-3 jobs just to survive. I grew up watching my dad really having to work hard. So I grew up, work hard, you'll be successful, and you'll make it. You won't be rich, but you will make it. Now, to me, that's truth, but it's kind of damaged a little bit because I should be able to work hard and work smart and be wealthy. And so I grew up thinking I'm never going to be rich because my parents weren't rich. My family wasn't rich. And so we got to change that perspective a little bit and look beyond. So I love how you're saying change the lens that we're looking through. Okay, this is good. I hope y'all taking notes, man. This is what we do at the table. My girl Mary's at the table. All right, so that's number 1. Talk to us about number 2, sister. What's number 2?
Number 2 is that there are so many people listening right now, and they know they have a gift in them. They know they have something they're being called to go do that is beyond that limiting belief. But they are sitting on that gift. They are sitting on that calling because of their own insecurities about it, because of their own fear of failure, because of their own what's somebody else going to say about it, that we are missing all the people who would be served. We're so stuck in this, who am I to go chase a dream, that we miss who could we help if we chase this dream. And that can be for us changing that break in our families. It can be what we put into the world. I mean, let me tell you something, Anthony. It was hard to write a story where you are walking that line of honoring, but also saying this needed to change. But as we go into our lives, my husband, Justin, and I, we know that we could be the break in that chains. And we know that from now on, and you talk about this all the time, our family tree could look different from what we're doing right now.
Yes.
And we get scared of that.
Yes.
Because we think, who am I to do that?
Come on.
Yeah.
Mary,
Yeah.
I don't want me to scream. I don't want to be too crazy up in here, but this is my show. Yes! You know, how many of us are actually sitting down on our dreams? How many of us are sitting down on our purpose? How many of us are missing out on really reaching everything God has called us and wants us to do because we're scared? We have insecurities. And there's nothing wrong with insecurities because we all have insecurities. At 36 years old, and at my level of success, I still have insecurities. You know, when I get around people like your Dave Ramsey's and these big names who've been doing this stuff for 25, 30 years, man, I do have some insecurities. But you know what? I go back to who I am. We were made by the same God. God put me on this earth to accomplish something. And so Dave was made by the same God that made me. He's no better than me. He may be wiser than me, but he's not a better person than me. So get your butt up and go do what God has called you to do and just trust God in the process. And I've done things scared. I've done things not even knowing how it's going to turn out. I've done things like this is not going to work. But because God showed up and I was just within the perfect will, man, things happen. Oh, you talking so good. So for those of y'all listening right now, I don't know what you're thinking about. You may be scared. You may be insecure in some areas. You may be nervous. But the very first thing I truly believe, and she just said it, get up, take the first step. I think that's the first part of the journey. Get up, take the first step.
Yeah.
Forget about the lens that you're looking through. Get a new set of lens. When you get a new set of lens, the next thing is take the first step. And I ain't trying to be preachy, but when we take one step, God can take 10. And that's like you taking 11 steps.